Hey guys, welcome to our afternoon session. It's Thursday, June 4th. I gotta look. I have no idea what day it is. I have two special guests. We are talking today about host. I want to create some sort of maybe a series where you guys will talk about your host, what you like about them, what type of business, what it is that you sell. We'll go over the questions and we'll see. But as I did in the promo, in the initial introduction to host, we know that there's no perfect host for one person. So I'll interview the agents. They'll tell us a little bit about themselves, about their business, about their host, and we'll go from there. So I have two guests today. I have Dale and I have Celia. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey. Let me just, so I can see the questions and see who's on the line. See, we have 6 people. I can't see who they are yet. But yeah, if you're listening, if you're seeing it live, just say hi, so we'll know you're there. And if you do have any questions for any of our guests today, let me know. So Dale, what I'll do is I'll start with you. And you'll tell us a little bit about you, about your business. So how long have you been in the travel business?
I started September of 2013. Had a back surgery. I'm a career firefighter paramedic. My neurosurgeon said, "Hey, what's your contingency plan if your back doesn't hold up?" And I went, "Oh, I don't know." And I kind of looked at my interests and things I like to do, and I had a travel agent, and using her, I decided, well, I like what she did for me. I'd like to do it for others.
Nice. So 2013, and do you specialize in something?
My biggest sales is Mexico, Caribbean. I would say cruises is my second, and over the last couple of years, my Europe has really began to expand.
Nice. Okay. So we have Kirsten on the line. We have Janice. Hi, Janice. I got your message. We'll talk tomorrow. Okay. So you said you spent Mexico, Caribbean. Do you do any cruises?
Oh yeah, sure. And my host agencies being in Houston, Texas, they have and the core of their membership is down that way. And obviously with Galveston being a cruise port, there's a lot of cruise sales. Me, I would say I'm 80% land, 20% cruises. Jamaica being one of my top destinations, and then Mexico being number 2.
Okay, interesting. Do you care to share the amount? You've been in the business for 7 years. Do you remember, like 2019, roughly? What's your range?
I don't remember. I remember I asked. I had put together a resume. I was pursuing some thoughts outside of the fire service, and I wanted a number for my resume. And I think in year 6, I was close to like $750,000 in sales. My first year, I think I had 1 client. So, the slow roll. This year, pre-COVID, was probably going to be my best year on record. And I just haven't been able to stomach looking how much it's cost me yet. I'm just kind of pretending it's not happening.
Yeah, this year is going to be different, of course, but again, we are hoping for a better 2021 for sure. Well, can't be worse.
I'm just waiting for the next thing to happen. I guess there was a giant asteroid hurling towards Earth, but they said it's going to miss. So we got that going for us.
Yeah. So with your business model, do you have associate agents? Do you have people that are working with you, or is it just you, one-man show?
I'm solo. I like the idea of working for myself and yelling at myself. And someday, that's in my future, but not in the immediate.
Okay. So again, Dale has been in the business for seven years, right?
Correct. Coming up.
Roughly in the $750,000 sales. Does a lot of all inclusive. Jamaica being his first primary destination, and Mexico, a little bit of cruises. Who's your host? Who are you working with?
So my host agency is Leisure Travel Alliance Central. It was formerly International Tours of Houston and formerly the International Travel Institute prior to that. As a whole, they've been around since 1974, but they originally started as a travel agent school in 1989 when technology kind of became more relevant and affordable. They started the home-based concept. And then International Tours of Houston was purchased by Leisure Travel Alliance. I don't remember exactly how many years ago, but a little while back. And so now there's a host agency side and a consortium side of Leisure Travel Alliance.
Great. Do you know how big the host is? How many agents?
Yeah, so the host side only has 260 agents. The consortium end, I don't have those numbers, but for the host agent side, it's like 260 agents.
Okay. And they're local to you, right? You're in Texas. You're in the Houston area.
No, actually. So and I know one of the questions is how did I pick them? It's kind of a funny story, but I live in Northwest Indiana. I'm 45 minutes to an hour from Chicago. They are in Houston, but we have a good working relationship. Distance hasn't presented to be an issue in most circumstances. And they do have other ICs in Colorado and I think South Carolina. There's ICs, not just in Texas, but we're definitely the minority, as far as the outskirts.
And remind, how many years have you been with them?
7 since day one.
Okay, so you just started and went with them. Okay.
Yeah, it was yeah.
So that also answers my next question: is are they your first host? So what made you pick them?
So my wife, who is an angel of my wild and crazy ideas I've had over the span of the 20 years we've been together, I actually did my homework on this, and I want to say it was Host Agency Reviews or a similar website. And as I was researching and learning, I was like, okay, I know I definitely want to host. And I don't remember who the first one was I called, but I remember the second one, and I remember the guy's name, and I won't say it, but the guy said, well, what makes you think you could be successful? And I said, I work as a firefighter paramedic. I said, firefighter paramedics love to know a guy, or a gal in some trade. I said, I think I could start there and it could evolve. And he said, well, what would you like to sell? And I said, I don't know. I'm thinking like Royal Caribbean sandals, all-inclusive type stuff. And he's like, you'll never be successful. Unless you sell exquisite things, you'll never be successful in the industry. You need to sell wine tours and blah, 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 blah. And I went, yeah, but that's not my people. That's not the people I know. That's not the clients I would have. I said, I think this conversation's over. I said, I'm not interested in joining your host agency. And he said, well, I'll have you know I've been published and people know me. And I'm like, cool, I've had stories written about me. It doesn't make a difference. So the next phone call was International Tours of Houston. And the president at the time, his name was Ron Sanders. I called them because they were in Texas. And I have family in Texas. And every time I go to Texas, I think they're some of the nicest people I've ever met. And the conversation I had with Mr. Sanders at the time was phenomenal. He was supportive. He was like, what makes you think you could be successful? And I was like, well, I'm a fireman and I don't know if that means anything to you. And he's like, I get it. He's like, people will want to use you, And so for the first 3 years, my core was that. It was the firefighter circle. And now I'm like, 2-3 layers out of people who know people, or people are roguely finding me. So the guy was a true Texan, kind gentleman, willing to help, willing to guide me. And now that he's gone and other people have taken over, I've just forever been loyal because they've been forever good to me.
I think it's great. Your answer is pretty much why I'm doing this, because it's not there. Some a host or some agents will call that second host that you called, and they'll have a niche. And yeah, we do one tours. That's a perfect match. That they would be like their perfect ever host. And whenever someone posts on this group, people are going to say this is the best host ever for them. For your specific situation, 7 years ago, maybe even now. Okay, that's also part of why we're doing this, so people will know if the grass is greener on the other side, if there are better hosts for your next situation or current situation. But that's the whole point. You have to find the right host for what you look to sell or your clientele. So I know why you picked them. Why are you still with them? What do you like about?
So, 260 agents, I don't need, I owe you a lot of money though. I think I've said a lot of you knows already. So it's family. When I call in, if I do need something, if I need advice, guidance, I have a problem, I haven't figured out how to troubleshoot it, if I want to bounce an idea off someone, whatever, when I call, whether it's the general manager, Kathy, or if I ever needed to talk to the president of the company, I'm a face, I'm a name, they know me, they know my personality, they know my family, they know, whatever. It's family. I like the feeling of family. I like the feeling that I'm not just agent 626, I'm Dale Holsti, and they want to know how my new puppy is, or they want to know how my son's doing, or whatever. So while they're small, it's extremely personal. It's extremely family oriented. When I get to go down to Houston for the conference, when they have the conference, I love it. I've made lifelong friends as a result of that small family atmosphere.
Okay, and I lost my train of thought. Do you, with the agents, you said you have 260 agents. Do they have like tiers of agents in terms of like level or team, or everyone is the same, like beginner agents, advanced, anything like that?
It's varied. When you start with them, you go through like a weekend class, kind of a intro to the travel industry. They go over a lot of stuff, honestly. And whether you're entry or your experience, they ask you to go through the same thing because some of the stuff is host agency specific to them, and you take it from there. But the variety of agents, expand from brand new to people who've been there, well beyond the time I've been there. The only levels are the commission levels. There's two tiers of commission levels. It's either 70-30 or 80-20. I don't remember the cutoff between 70-30 and 80-20, but it's achievable if you work. I know others pay 90-10, and I've had people approach me about, hey, you should go to another host because they pay better. And I'm like, you know what, the 20% for the times that I call or email or have questions or have problems, like, I feel like that's worth it. It's a good relationship.
So you start with 70-30, and then based on production, you can go up to 80-20?
Yeah, and I can't remember. I want to say it's if you achieve 10,000 in commission, but don't quote me because I don't remember the cutoff.
Okay.
But that's when you go to 80-20, and then as long as you maintain that, they keep you there. But I've always felt it was fair. I don't have any issues with it.
It sounds like an achievable amount. Yeah, for sure. And I get it. At the beginning, you probably utilize more of their services. They help you a little bit more. Once you get the hang of it and you actually start selling, then you use less of their resources, or something like that, and then commission goes
down. Yeah, if anything now it's more, hey, I'm working on this, but side note, happy anniversary, how are things? Or I don't know, Boss Lady Kathy might debate it a little bit, but usually it's more just casual. Hey, how are you? Side note, here's a question. I do think I've definitely become less reliant, but I'm still okay with that relationship. I'm still okay with, having a host agency. Actually, this year was kind of a year I thought about maybe branching out and kind of trying to go my own way. And I thought better of it. And now I'm really glad I didn't, because through this pandemic and the issues that have arose, they've been amazing to work with. They've been definitely an ally and an advocate for us.
Awesome. So you told me what you like about them, but do you have a specific tool that they offer that helps you with your bottom line, like make more money? Again, I know you said it's the people, the relationship, the ability, but is there a specific tool, marketing, something that they do?
So they do offer marketing. They do have, email marketing that they send out. Some of the other things they do, they block off group space on cruises. So if you have a client who's looking at a cruise, if you can, bring them into a group for a better perk, that's always an option. What I like about them is they have an amazing variety of preferred suppliers. I don't even know the number of how many, but like if there's a niche, if there's a brand, if there's a whatever that you really want to get into, they typically have relationships with suppliers that can accommodate those needs. Me, I still, and I'm sure it's debatable, and I'm sure there could be a Facebook war over this. I don't want to narrow into one thing. Yeah, I have my strong point or whatever, but I like the ability to sell the world and learn the world and the different varieties. And with good suppliers, even if you're weak in an area, they can help you through that. So the tools that I would say they give us is support, resources, a great variety of suppliers. They do webinars, they do great trainings and things like that. So, I mean, there's no like magical tool that they have that's, made me successful, but because of a combination of all those things, I think I'm successful.
Okay. And I think it's my last question to you. What is there anything that you would wish that they would do, like something that would do differently?
No, actually, the little stuff when I first joined, and God bless him, Mr. Sanders was awesome, but he wasn't a technology guy. So even like Facebook, it wasn't a thing. Like he wouldn't, when he retired, one of the first things they did is they did like a Facebook group where they could communicate with the ICs. And so they're using technology now. They provide a conference every, I think it's 18 months, where we get to meet and, face to face with our preferred suppliers and get updates and whatever. I don't know. I may just not be a needy person, but my cup is full as far as what they provide me. I don't know if there's anything I'd want them to change.
Okay, that's good. Anything that you would like to add regarding the host that I didn't ask?
Well, I guess I would say, LTA kind of prides themselves on the host agency side as not being massive, right? They want to maintain that, personal feel, that personal touch. So if you're looking to get into the travel industry and you're looking for a host where you are a person and you're a person from day 1 to day 2000, it's a great fit. They have very low, their fees are minimal. And actually they waive your fees if you sell, I had the data sheet, I don't remember, but it's not much. And if you do have to pay the airs and emission fee is like $100 a year to be on their rider. And then the enrollment fee, I think, is $100 too. I'd have to look at the sheet, but it's low cost, low overhead, and a great entry point. And it's also a great 7-year down the road point.
Okay, nice. Good. Well, thank you for the information. I'm going to keep you here, but if you want, I can hide you so you don't have to be in front of the camera. I can put you on our backstage, still keep you with the mic. Do you want it, or do you want to stay with us?
No, you can look at this pretty face. It's good. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So finally, Celia, it's up to you. You just had to listen, and we.
No, it's okay. It's okay, because now know what I should touch on.
Oh, now you have the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
No questions now.
Right. Thank you so much
Okay.
for
So
me on.
we'll go to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about you and who your host is.
Can you hear me okay, first of all? Okay. My name is Celia Smith. I own a travel agency named One Life Travel. And I'm also I'm in Texas. And my host agency is out of Florida. I'm with Travel Planners International. Normally goes by TPI. And I've been with them for 3 years. Okay. So I started my journey, I'm going to say 4 years ago, because I did do some really extensive searches on finding the right host company. I've been in business for exactly 3 years to the week, actually. I started.
Okay. I thought you said 4. So 3 years, and you just started with, that was your first host?
Yes, that was my first host. Well, it actually took me a year from the time that I wanted to start my travel agency to actually go into business.
Okay.
So yeah.
We'll get to the, coming up with why you picked that host, but I want to hear a little bit more about your business. What do you specialize in something?
So I don't have a real big niche destination. I specialize more in the type of client. And so I specialize in 2 types of clients, kind of is what I'm seeing is who comes to me. Number one, the person that is too busy to do all the research, or that just gets convoluted with so much stuff and they're like, Celia, help me with this. And number 2, the new traveler, which is one of my biggest, it's what really makes me happy is to help somebody that's new to traveling, that has tried to do it on their own and just are too afraid, don't understand all the logistics involved, end up overpaying because they're nickeling and diming. They're thinking they're getting a good deal and they're really not. And so I really like to work with them to show them how easy it is to let me take care of it. And then they just can go ahead and have fun. As far as destination wise, I do, it looks like I'm niching in celebrity cruises. That's a big part of my business last year. Some Europe multi-destination tours, and I got a big Las Vegas. I do a lot of Las Vegas packages, and my favorite destination, so I like to say that I niche there, is Costa Rica, because I know I do know a lot about the country and the different tours, and I go there several times a year so that I can become an expert in that.
Okay. Well, busy person, I guess you can find some professions. How do you reach new travelers? How do you know who's new traveler to the business?
So my referrals, people refer, I'm starting to get a lot of referrals. That's where my business is coming from. But just from my social media, and just asking people, I've learned to really just put myself out there in the way to where I ask, where do you like going, or where did you go on vacation this year? And from there, I'll know if they are new to traveling or haven't. And I'm kind of a chaos coordinator and peer pressure them to to explore the world.
That is an interesting niche. I personally have my niche for cruises are normally new to cruises, first time cruisers. But new travelers and concept, I haven't heard that niche, we'll call it, or that specialty. I think it's interesting. So do you have a range? Again, 3 years in the business, starting your 4th. Do you know your numbers?
Yes, I do, because it was very slow coming. It was very challenging. Like Dale said, I think he said the first year he had like 1 or 2 clients. Since I started in late May, early June, I kind of started mid-year. So that whole 6 months through the end of the year, I also only had like maybe 4 bookings. My gross sales for that year was $5,000 over those 4 bookings. It was a couple of Vegas trips and 1 San Antonio, FIT, and I was very green at that. So the first year was 5,000, and I was kind of like, oh my goodness, wow, like It was hard.
Not as easy as it seems.
No, it was hard because I'm like, I know you want to go places, you know, why aren't you calling me? But I realized really quick that I just had to stick with it, show my potential clients that I was very serious about it. And slowly but surely that started to kind of snowball. My second year gross sales was 50,000. So I went from 5 to 50,000. And you know, by myself, and that growth really showed me that it's going to be very possible. And you know, I was very proud, you know, going from that to that. And then 2019 was 250,000 in gross sales. So I went from 5,000 to 50 to 250. So like Dale said, this year was going to be your year. This year was going to be my year too. Because I thought, okay, I'm there. Coming into 2020, I already had 90,000 on the books for 2020. So I said, I'm going to hit the 250 again, and I'm going to surpass that, and I'm going to maintain. I had a, you know, my plan, and it was awesome. And then, yeah, COVID hit, and it was very upsetting. It was.
And then this happened. Yeah. But yeah, that's impressive. I mean, you know, some people have a goal, you know, a number goal. I like the, you know, increase your numbers by 10 times and then 5 times. As long as you're growing, you know, it's an amazing growth. It's great, and it's encouraging. Now with this year, yeah, well, we'll figure it out. Now, do you work on your own? Do you have any associate agents?
I work on my own. I've tried to get prepared to bring on some associate agents, but then for some reason, just things don't work out the way that I, you know, want. And I just think that you have to find the right people that have the same passion or that have the same drive. Or the biggest misconception is that some associate agents that are not in the travel business think that these clients are just going to fall into your lap and you're just going to be busy all the time. And so when you start to explain, no, you have to, it's going to be slow. People want to trust you. Your biggest competition is the internet. So how do you set yourself apart? You know, it's going to take work. And so, because I'm very honest about it, I think I've kind of scared some people away. And they're like, but no, I see these things on Facebook where become a travel agent today. And I'm like, well, you know, that's different. That's different. And that's not the kind of business model that I follow. You know, I don't want everybody to become a travel agent, because then not everybody becomes an expert, you know? So I'm an expert. And I don't think it's insulting for me to think that everybody can do what I do. You know, it's not. I can't do, you know, I can't cut your hair like your hairdresser. You know what I mean? So it's just people not understanding. And so
I mean, I've seen tons of videos on YouTube. People are trying to be hairdressers.
Yeah.
You see what happens.
She did an amazing job.
You're lucky. You are lucky with that.
So I do it by myself. And so with the amount of growth that I have achieved, I couldn't have done it with the host agency that I'm with. I know that for sure. I think it's one of the best tools for your business as an independent contractor. And I know that picking TPI and sticking with them has really been one of the biggest reasons why I've been able to become more successful in my business.
Okay, so this is the second question. Who's your current host? You meant you Travel Planners, TPI, right?
TPI, Travel Planners International.
And they are affiliated with the consortia?
Yes, so the consortia is Ensemble. And Ensemble, they have been established since 1968. They're member-owned and they're member-run. So being that Ensemble has been around for so long, they have some really good supplier relationships and really good perks. And so being with TPI, I don't pay extra for a consortia. That's already included in my fee or membership with TPI. So that was one of the things that I was looking for when I was doing my research. Like I said, I started 4 years ago, but I actually started my business 3 years ago. So in that year, I was doing research and training because I wanted to get it right. I wanted to, I had another full-time job. So I took my time in trying to find the right fit.
And right now, do you do this as full-time, or do you have another?
No, I after in that 6 months when I only had like 3 clients and I only made 5,000, I saw the potential. And because I went to training, I actually went to training to TPI. They have a 1.0, for brand new agents to go and ask questions and learn little things. I went to that. I took a trip to Florida so that I could, find out what this crazy business was about. And seeing other agents that were there and had been there and talking to other people and learning about other people's successes, I knew that it was a business that I was going to have to invest more time in. And since I loved it, I decided to quit my full-time, very well compensated corporate job to pursue my dream. And so, yeah, this is what I do full-time now.
Okay. So I think my next question was, how long have you been with them? So we know that it's from the beginning. So, and what's, let me see, my next question. So why you said you did a lot of research, almost a year. Why did you pick them?
So I picked them because I since I was researching other host agencies on the compensation plan and then the cost of doing business, how much was it going to cost me to hook up with them? And I found that cost to be pretty much equal across the line with a few other host agencies. One of the things that I liked is that they don't have a referral. I think that's what it's called, a referral program, where the host agency gets calls directly and then they refer you clients.
Oh, so
what is that called?
I think you mean that the agency itself, the host doesn't sell travel, or you mean a program where they promote you on their website?
Well, they have TPI has a page with agents that I believe you can look up an agent in the area, but
in your area, okay.
But they don't have where they send you clients, or at least I don't think they do. They've never sent me one client, but I've seen other host agencies where they send you clients, but then you have to give them like a 70% cut of your commission.
There is one host that I'm aware of that has a referral program, and the clients are pretty much theirs, and you only service them, so your commission split is different.
Yeah,
like a lead generator. We'll try and someone with Avoya maybe, and if you're on the line and you're with Avoya, and if you're with the lead program, I'd love to have you on the live chat to come and talk about Avoya. Again, this is for everyone. This is I am personally with travel planners, but it's not a push for any specific host. No. We're not promoting any host, and the reason why I didn't want to have the host representatives come and talk, because I want to hear what agents feel.
Right.
This is true. This is what they're, and again, one host can be perfect for you and could be a really bad match for someone else. So
I was seeing that some host agencies had those programs where they send you, but then they take a really big cut. I think there was more than just one. And I was like, I don't want you to send me clients. Like, I want this to be my business. I don't want you in my business. So
and some agents will probably swear by it and say this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
They give me business. So again, it really depends on the model.
Yes, it depends on the model, exactly. And so my model, I knew that I didn't really want, I wanted to pay my fee. I wanted the access. I wanted the supplier list. I wanted top tier commissions. And so when I was researching, I found TPI to be one of the ones that had everything that I wanted it to fit for me. I didn't want leads. I didn't want, their hand in my cookie jar in that way. I didn't want to be doing extra work for somebody for somebody else to get more pay in that sense, because you never know how a client can turn out. We have, every client is different. Some are very low maintenance and some are extremely high maintenance for, very small package for a very small commission. So those are some of the things that I really looked for. I wanted a host agency that would give me the tools, but that would not really be in my business, telling me how to run my business. And I found TPI to have that, and that's what I needed, and that's what I've gotten, and that's how I've been able to grow the way that I have.
Okay, so I know, and again, part of what we're doing this is it's really hard to actually know what the host agency is like from just reading their website or listening to their sales pitch. So I kind of know why you pick them. Why are you still staying? What do you like about them as an agent, as a working agent?
So I stay with them because they haven't really changed much as far as my cost to do business through them, and I like that. So I've been able to project my expenses very well, and so my profits are going to be, I know that, so a lot of places, they have changes. Okay, now this costs this much, and we have to raise this, increase this fee because of this. And so with TPI, they've stayed consistent in that manner. And so since they have the things that I need to be successful, and the cost hasn't changed on me, then it continues to work for me in that way. I continue to stay with them in that. TPI is family owned. And so they even though they do have a lot of agents, I've never felt like I'm just a number either. They have experts. They have their teams that work with specific departments. So if I need or have a question or need help with something, then I can go to somebody specifically, and they're pretty quick to get back to me. So they got really good backup, and that works well for me. I also stay with them because they do like mini conferences. They do I think it's called a TPI Rocks. And they don't just do it. Everything's not just out of Florida. They have one in Vegas. They have one in Dallas. I think they have one in Chicago. Every year they do several. And so I like that I could find somewhere closer to meet up with them and do some of their hands-on training. And so that's why I stay with them.
Okay. You've mentioned they have a lot of agents. Do you know how many agents they have?
So the number that I hear a lot from going to their conferences and what they say on their website is about 4,000. So I don't know if everybody's, if it's 4,000 active agents or just, 4,000. I don't know for sure.
Okay. So that's a much larger agency than they are, a much larger host. But if I'm not mistaken, 4,000 is considered a mid-size host. There are hosts with much larger agents, many more. Okay. Do you feel, Dale said that he feels, with 250, he feels 260. He feels that it's more like a family. Do you feel any different with 4,000?
No, I don't see the 4,000 actually, because when I've gone to the conferences, it's, I don't know, the dynamic is really good. I think they did one on a cruise, and there was like maybe 400 agents on there. So I don't know, because it is a business, a family business, that they somehow make it feel like we're a smaller family. They have some really great Facebook pages, for engagement. And I made really good contacts with other of their agents. So I still get this small town feeling, even though it's a big city, I still get that feeling.
Is there anything, before that, best tool, do they have something particular that you use that actually increases your bottom line?
Well, they do have an email product, but I don't use that actually. I'm going to say, and this is probably not what you're wanting to hear, but their best tool is the conferences that they offer, the one-on-one engagements that they offer, because that boosts my confidence. And knowing that they're available to me has boosted my confidence. So anytime I am talking to people or trying to find a new supplier or trying to learn or trying to make that perfect package and I get stuck, going directly to TPA, calling them and telling them this, I have this problem, who should I talk to? And they patching me through directly to the person that I need to talk to me is the biggest tool. So their personal engagement to me is the best tool.
Okay. So I want to thank you guys again for coming. Hopefully we'll get to do this again with a few other agents that will volunteer to talk about their host. Again, the key here is to get everyone educated and learn about other hosts that are out there, consortias. Maybe we'll do a session on consortias as well for the individual agents, because if you're part of a host, you can't really choose your consortia. But you might choose a host based on their consortia. So maybe we'll do a session about this. Again, thank you guys. Thank you for everyone that has been live with us. And we'll see you guys really soon. Bye.
Everyone take care. Be well.
Bye. Be well.